I went to the US Embassy in Abuja to apply for my visa, and you guys, I was denied. So I applied again for US visa, and again, for the second time, I was rejected. I'm getting emotional talking about this. Hi lovelies, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Adi and I am an incoming third year medical student currently studying in the Philippines. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you guys so much. I am so grateful. And if you're new to this channel, I just hope you find a reason to subscribe to my channel. And in today's video, it's going to be more like me sharing about how God helped me. You know, I've talked about why I decided to go back to medical school. Just in case you don't know this, I actually started medical school precisely in 2019 when I turned 30. Yes, so currently I'm 32 years studying medicine here in the Philippines. So I just want to, share with you guys what has happened, or what's literally happened before med school, and how God brought me this far and how God has helped me so far. This video is actually inspired by Dr. Wina. I'm going to be linking the name of her channel on this screen. Please do check her out. If this is something you would like to watch, make sure to stick around. So a little bit of a backdrop. Like I mentioned earlier, I studied biochemistry and I graduated from the University of Nigeria in Nsukka. Yes, I graduated in 2012, and after graduation I proceeded to do my national youth service in 2013, and by 2014 I got my first job. I'm not going to go into details regarding what happened in 2014 2015, because I already made a video regarding that, which I'm going to be linking in the description box. Just make sure to watch it because it will make you to understand better. So anyways, I got my first job in 2014, and life happened, and at some point I left the job, did some other jobs, and I think I became jobless again. Fast forward to 2015, I was really not satisfied. I was feeling unfulfilled. 2015 was when I made up my mind that I really wanted to go back to school. So I was earning 45,000 naira at that 2015, which it wasn't really a good pay at that time, obviously. But then I really wanted to go back to school, and I was praying about it. I was trusting God about it. I remember in 2015, from that salary, from that money, from 45,000, I took out some money. I was trusting God, so I was taking steps of faith. So I took out some money from that salary, and I remember I went and got my international passport, which was, so 2015 was the first time I got my international passport. I was really hopeful, and I was praying to God, and I was trusting God that things will get better, or that a miracle would happen. Anyways, in 2015 also, I was able to get admission to study in the UK. I got admission at the University of Chester and one other university in the UK for Masters in Global Health and Masters in Public Health. Well, at that time it didn't really work out because of some financial reasons. So I just went ahead, I continued living life and doing jobs, but like I mentioned earlier, I was not satisfied. I was not happy. Literally, I was just frustrated with life and everything. I was wondering, like, when will things get better? I don't know if you've done a job, like the pay is not good, you're not happy, you're not satisfied. That was the situation I was in that period. It was really a very tough period for me, I would say. But then I was still trusting God. And towards the end of 2016, I lost my job again, and instead of being idle, I started up this real estate firm, I would say. So basically what I do, like when people have houses to rent or houses to sell, I'll just advertise. I started this social media platform on Instagram. Yeah, ABJ Cribs, that's the name. So I'll just go around, when people have houses to rent or sell, they call me, and I just take pictures of those houses and I post online, and I get clients. And when I get clients, I am being paid a certain percentage. So that was basically what I was doing from 2016 to 2017. But the thing is that how real estate can be, the salary was not also stable. Even though I loved it, but the salary was not stable, so it's not something that was sustainable enough for me. I was doing it basically, but I knew that I could not afford to rent my own apartment in Abuja, because I was staying in Abuja with my sister. I knew that I could not afford those kind of life I wanted. But anyways, instead of just being idle, I was just doing that job. So I remember I got a deal. I rented a house and I got some money. I believe so much in seed sowing, So in case you don't know what seed sowing means, seed sowing is where you take a certain amount or something that cost you something, and just give it to God. I remember I got a deal, this particular deal, and the money from that deal, I didn't spend it. I'm getting emotional talking about this. So yeah, I didn't spend that money. I just wrapped that money and I gave it as a seed in my church in Abuja. I'm getting emotional. I just prayed to God. I'm like, God, I don't even know how life is going. Things were just not working for me. I just sowed that seed and I prayed and I told God that, God, I don't know how. I'm getting so emotional. Yeah, I remember I made this heartfelt prayer and I told God that, if He doesn't help me, I don't even know, because things were just super unstable, super unstable. I was not just happy. I prayed to God and I said, God, I really want to go back to school. I don't know how you're going to do it for me. I was just trusting God, literally, that He would make a way for me. So this seed I'm talking about, I sowed it in my church in 2017. Yeah, around November of 2017, towards that period, towards the end of 2017. I can't remember the month actually. And then in December of that same 2017, I'm going to keep the name of the person anonymous for some reasons. So this person calls me and said, there's this school in the US. Would you mind going to the US for nursing, And he told me about the school, gave me the name of the school, gave me some details about the school. I also made my own personal research. And he was like, okay, just apply to the school. I'm going to sponsor you in this school. I was like, what? Though I was really, truly very, 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 very I know seed sowing works, but I didn't know it worked that fast, because I saw this seed towards around November, or towards the end of November, and by December this thing was happening. I was literally blown away. And this person was like, okay, that he's going to sponsor me to the US and everything. I was so happy. I'm like, God, is this really happening? So in 2018, I processed my admission to study nursing in the US. I was admitted to the glory of God. I got everything I needed, to apply for my visa. I got my bank statements, I got everything I needed to, go to the US embassy to apply for a visa. So you guys, just imagine how at that height I was like, oh my God, things are now finally falling in place, So I went to the US embassy in Abuja to apply for my visa, and you guys, I was denied. I was denied my visa. I don't even know how I felt that period. I was like, what? I was just feeling, 1 minute I was feeling like everything was in place, oh my God, I was so happy, somebody wants to sponsor me to study nursing, which was, I was really happy. And then I went to the US embassy and I was denied visa. It was just like I went from hundreds to zero. I was like, my God, what is happening? I don't even know how I felt at that time, but I really felt so disappointed, because I remember that morning of the visa interview, I prayed so well. I was like, God, what is happening? I didn't understand it. I was like, okay, maybe my things were not in place. Maybe I didn't speak well, or maybe I don't really know what the problem was. Anyways, I went again to apply for this second time. I went again, reapplied again, paid again, because in Nigeria you have to pay for the to book the visa. So I applied again for US visa, and again for the second time I was rejected. Wow. Like I don't even know how I felt. Like I was like, what is going on? I was so sad. Like I was depressed because I just had everything I wanted. Like I had literally everything I wanted. All I needed was just the visa. Do you get? So I was so disappointed. I was literally so sad. I cried. To be honest with you, I cried. Like I'm like, God, have you forgotten me? Have you forsaken me? Like, I was so sad. But I just continued life. That period, I think after that, I just went to Lagos for some reasons. I went back to Lagos, moved back to my parents' house in Lagos, and I'm like, what next? I was like, you know what? Maybe God doesn't even want me to travel abroad, Even though, to be honest with you, I didn't really want to school in Nigeria, but after those two denials, after the two visa denials, I was like, maybe God just wants me to stay back in Nigeria. And I was like, okay. And then in Lagos, Unilag offers a master's program for 1 year. Okay, so I was like, okay, since I'm in Lagos, I could as well, start up a master's program in Lagos. So I applied to Unilag. Well, I knew that I didn't want to go back to, studying biochemistry. So I was looking for kind of any course that will leverage me or give me more advantage to work in the health sector, like I've always wanted to. So I was going through some courses, and I was also making some research online, and I saw this course, biomedical engineering. But because I don't have an engineering degree, I was expected to do the postgraduate diploma, which was what I applied for. So after the postgraduate diploma, then you can move ahead to start your master's program in biomedical engineering. So I was like, okay, I know this will take me a while, because the postgraduate diploma, it's 1 year, and the master's program is 1 year, which is basically 2 years. I was like, okay, I don't even mind, instead of going back to study biochemistry for 1 year. So I was like, okay, 2 years, it's okay. So after I applied for the program, for the postgraduate program in biomedical engineering, we're expected to write exams in Unilag. Unilag, by the way, means University of Lagos. So yeah, we wrote the exams, and I think the period we were waiting for the results to come out, my dad was like, let's go home, like back home. So going back home to the eastern part of Nigeria is just like saying you want to visit the province, basically. So yeah, he said, okay, let's go back home to my state, my home state, where we come from. So the main idea for going back home to our state is basically because we do have a government hospital, which is also a teaching hospital. So the university also uses it as their teaching hospital. So the idea was that we'll meet up with someone that can actually help me to get a job, since I really wanted a job in the health sector. Well, going back to my hometown, to be honest with you, at that time was not really something I wanted. I didn't want to live there, basically. And yeah, I didn't want to live there. But at that point, I really wanted to obey my dad, because this is what he said I should do. So I remember I packed my bag that particular day, and it was a road trip anyway, but deep down in me, I was not happy, because that's not really what I really wanted. But I mean, I was at that point in my life where I was more willing to obey, I was very, very open to obey my dad. We traveled back to my hometown, and then we met this woman. So like I mentioned, I think if you've watched the video where I talked about why I decided to head back to medical school, I talked about this. So we met this woman and another man. It was supposed to be like a meeting, and she just saw me and just liked me for no reason. Like, she just liked me. So she was like, Adi, instead of trying to get a job here in this hospital, why not go back to school to study medicine? Remember, I didn't even tell her how I applied for nursing in the US and how my visa was denied. I didn't even tell her all those stuff, but I just felt it was just God that orchestrated that meeting for me, because she just saw me, she liked me, you know, she just took me as her daughter. I'm like, oh my God, like I just felt like it was just God that was working. So she tells me that I can actually come to a country called Philippines, and that I can actually study there for nursing, you know. Okay, she gave me her son's contact, and you know, we got talking. And after I made my own inquiries, because I already have a first degree, so the kind of nursing I wanted to do was more like a top-up program where maybe I'll just get to do only 2 years, you know, because I already have a first degree. But unfortunately, when I made my research, I was told that even with my 4 years in biochemistry, I would still have to do another 4 years in nursing school here in the Philippines. I don't know, maybe it's not like that for all the schools, but based on the person I know at that time, that was what I was told. So after I made my research, I just decided to, instead of going for nursing for 4 years, I would rather study medicine for 4 years. So I just decided to study medicine. So that was how I was able to apply to med school here in the Philippines. That was how God used that meeting that I attended to help me to, you know, because if I hadn't traveled home with my dad, if I had not obeyed my dad and went back to my hometown, I wouldn't have met this woman. I wouldn't have known about Philippines. I wouldn't have known that, you know, there was this opportunity to, you know, study medicine for 4 years. The 3 things I would like to bring out from this video is, firstly, take steps of faith. If you're trusting God for something, do your own part. You know, Christianity is a two-way thing. It's not only about God. You have to also do your own part. Like I mentioned earlier, I got my first international passport in 2015 from the 45,000 naira salary I was earning at that time. And it was that same passport that I got in 2015 that I used to travel in 2019. So I knew that one day, I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I knew that one day I was going to travel. And it was that passport I got in 2015 was what I used in traveling in 2019. So if you're trusting God for something, I don't know what your own case may be, but whatever you're trusting God for, you have to keep taking steps of faith. And the second thing I would like to point out from this story is that obedience is very important. You know, God has placed us in such a way that we should have spiritual authorities, or people who are like who have authority over our lives. You can't just live your life anyhow. You should have mentors. You should have like spiritual leaders who can instruct you and direct you. So I'm just wondering, if I hadn't obeyed my dad at that point in time, to follow him back to my state, I would have missed out on coming here, because that means I wouldn't have been in that meeting, and there's no way I would have met that woman, because she literally works in my state. I think it's very important that you obey the spiritual authority God has placed over your life. And thirdly, I don't know about you, but I believe so much in the power of seed sowing. There are things that, yeah, prayer works, but there are sometimes you need to step up the game and sow seeds. Seed sowing literally works. So I just want to know, have you trusted God for something before? Like, have you been in a situation where like you lost all hope and all of a sudden God showed up for you? I'd really like to know. Just leave a comment in the comment section. Let's have a conversation. You know, just to encourage one another. Just share your story. If you think you can share it, just type it in the comment section and let someone be encouraged today. Anyways, this is the end of today's video, and I hope that somehow this video has been able to inspire you to trust God the more. Until I see you in my next video, take care. Bye bye.